wimp. This way you'll earn your dessert. Wow, this is great, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, it's awesome. Hey, is your vision also reduced to just a tiny pinhole?
Just push through it, Brian. Once you hit your runner's high, you'll catch your second wind.
So a talking dog has dated more women than most men ever will in their lifetimes, and somehow managed to screw up every single relationship. Welcome to the train wreck that is Brian Griffin's love life, where pretentious meets pathetic and emotional baggage comes with a martini in hand. For over 2 decades, Family Guy's self-proclaimed intellectual has been chasing women, crashing weddings, and leaving a trail of broken hearts and broken promises across Quahog. But here's the twisted part. Brian isn't just bad at relationships, he's a masterclass in self-sabotage. From falling for his best friend's wife to dating a transgender woman and having a complete meltdown about it, Brian's romantic history reads like a psychological textbook on what not to do in the dating world. Today, we're diving deep into every girlfriend, every failed marriage attempt, and every inappropriate attraction that's made Brian Griffin the most dysfunctional bachelor in animated television history. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll understand why even Quagmire, a literal sex addict, thinks Brian is disgusting. High school and early loves. Before Brian became the wine-sipping, novel-writing narcissist we know today, there was Tracy Flanagan, his high school sweetheart who represents everything Brian would later become terrible at. Genuine connection. Tracy appears in flashback references throughout the series, and she's the woman who would later drop the ultimate bombshell on Brian's doorstep. But we'll get to that disaster later. During his so-called wild college years at Brown University, which he never actually graduated from, by the way, Brian apparently dated multiple women. The show references these relationships vaguely, painting a picture of a young dog who thought he was James Dean but was probably just an insufferable philosophy major who quoted Dostoevsky at parties. These unnamed college girlfriends set the foundation for Brian's later pattern, pursuing intellectual superiority over emotional connection, choosing wine tastings over genuine vulnerability, and convincing himself that being well-read made him worthy of love.
In high school, I was violated sexually by my father. It happened on numerous occasions, and I was too afraid to tell anyone because I felt like somehow it was my fault.
So, you do go all the way?
No, and I'm sorry. It'll never happen again, I swear. Look, I want to make up for that lost time now if you'll give me one more chance. Dylan, will you let me be your father? Yeah.
The Jillian Era, Seasons 4 to 8. Now we get to the big one, Jillian Russell. If Brian had a one that got away, it's this beautiful, sweet, impossibly dumb blonde voiced by Drew Barrymore. Brian meets Jillian in Season 5's Whistle While Your Wife Works, and from the start, he's embarrassed by her intelligence, or lack thereof. She thinks Hitler is someone who should be stopped right now, believes Pac-Man is a documentary about a brave yellow man, and her grasp of basic knowledge rivals a goldfish. But here's what made Jillian special. She genuinely cared about Brian. She was kind, supportive, and put up with his pretentious BS for years. Their relationship lasted multiple seasons, making it Brian's longest romance by a mile. The physical attraction was obvious. Jillian was stunning, but Brian constantly hid her from his family because he was ashamed of dating someone beneath his intellectual level. The cracks started showing when Brian would correct her grammar, mock her interests, and visibly cringe when she spoke in public. In one particularly painful scene, Brian literally pretended not to know Jillian when he saw her at a bookstore with his intellectual friends. She deserved so much better, and deep down, Brian knew it. The relationship finally imploded when they moved in together. After Stewie revealed that Brian never actually wanted to take that step, Jillian tearfully ran away. Brian later realized he'd made a massive mistake and confessed his love, only to find her dating Mayor Adam West. The damage was done. Jillian had learned her self-worth and Brian had learned nothing. When Jillian later got engaged to the perfect Derek Wilcox, Brian crashed her wedding in Season 7's We Love You, Conrad, and begged her to take him back. In a moment of beautiful poetic justice, Jillian gently turned him down, telling him he had his chance and blew it. Even after her husband Derek was later murdered by Diane Simmons, Jillian never went back to Brian. That's how badly he messed up.
Hi, Brian. Oh my God, who's your cute little friend?
Oh my. Hello, Stewie, Chom.
I'm Jillian. Come on in, who wants a drink?
So, you gonna take back what you said?
Brian, she's stunning.
Okay, you met her. You can scram now.
Sorry, but I'm in love with Derek now.
I see. And you really feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, he's everything I have, especially since my mom died of cancer.
Inappropriate attractions, the creepy years. Hold on to your seats because this is where Brian's love life goes from sad to straight up disturbing. First up, Lois Griffin, his best friend's wife. In Season 2's Brian in Love, Brian discovers through therapy that his constant urination problem stems from repressing his feelings for Lois. He confesses his love and Lois lets him down gently, calling their friendship special. But Brian doesn't take no for an answer. He later marries Lois when Peter is presumed dead in Season 4's Perfect Castaway, and even tries to sleep with her while Peter is alive and well. The worst incident happens in Season 6's Play It Again, Brian, when Brian invites Peter and Lois to Martha's Vineyard. After getting Lois alone and slightly drunk, Brian aggressively makes a pass at her, forcing her to physically kick him out of the room. It's not romantic, it's sexual harassment. This obsession with Lois appears repeatedly throughout the series, with Brian making inappropriate comments, jealous remarks, and crossing boundaries that would destroy most friendships. Then there's Meg Griffin. Yes, you read that right. In Season 5's Barely Legal, Brian agrees to take Meg to her junior prom as a favor. He gets drunk during the dance, and after defending Meg from bullies, makes out with her. Meg becomes obsessed, eventually kidnapping Brian and attempting to assault him in a hotel room. The fact that this storyline exists at all is testament to how dark Brian's romantic entanglements can get. What makes it worse is that the show occasionally references this incident in later episodes, using it as leverage against Brian whenever he gets too self-righteous. Brian also dated Rita, Quagmire's girlfriend, purely to spite Glenn in Season 8's Jerome is the New Black. This wasn't about liking Rita, it was about revenge. And this relationship directly contributed to Quagmire's famous hatred speech, where he systematically destroys Brian's entire identity, calling him out for being a hypocritical, pretentious failure who constantly hits on his best friend's wife. That speech became one of the most memorable moments in Family Guy history because every single criticism was absolutely deserved.
All I've done is try to be nice to you and you still don't like me. How can you not like me?
Okay, I'll tell you. You are the worst person I know. You constantly hit on your best friend's wife. The man pays for your food and rescued you from certain death, and this is how you repay him? And to add insult to injury, you defecate all over his yard.
Failed adult relationships, Seasons 7 to 12. After his inappropriate attractions phase, Brian entered his serial monogamy with quick exits era. In Season 7's Not All Dogs Go to Heaven, he briefly dated Lauren Conrad. Yes, the reality TV star. Ironically, Brian assumed she was dumb because she was on The Hills, only to discover she was one of the most intelligent, accomplished women he'd ever met. This terrified him. Brian can only date women he feels superior to, so when Lauren outsmarted him at every turn, his ego couldn't handle it. He eventually gave her worms, ending that relationship in the most pathetic way possible. Then came Carolyn in Season 7's Love, Blackshally. They connected over atheism and Richard Dawkins' books, and for once, Brian found an intellectual equal. But Stewie convinced Brian to wait before having sex to build emotional connection. Brian waited too long and Carolyn ended up sleeping with Cleveland instead, who gave her genital warts. Romantic. One of Brian's most problematic relationships was with Rita. Not Quagmire's Rita, but the 50-year-old cougar from Season 8's Brian's Got a Brand New Bag. Brian showed up to date Rita's daughter Nicole, but Nicole had already left with someone else. Brian hit it off with Rita instead, and they got engaged. The Griffin family mercilessly mocked the age difference, even though in dog years, Brian was actually older at 56. The relationship seemed sweet until Rita broke her hip during sex, forcing Brian to become her caretaker. While picking up her medication, Brian stopped at a bar, got drunk, and cheated on her with a younger woman. When he confessed, Rita dumped him immediately, telling him he wasn't old enough for her. A devastating burn that proved Brian's emotional immaturity was the real age gap. Brian's lowest moment came when Tracy Flanagan, his high school girlfriend, returned in Season 6's The Former Life of Brian. She introduced him to Dylan, the teenage son Brian never knew existed. Instead of stepping up, Brian abandoned Dylan completely, becoming an absentee father. When Dylan returned as a Disney Channel star in Season 12's Brian's a Bad Father, Brian only reconnected to exploit his son's industry connections for a writing job. Even Quagmire, who has abandoned countless children, called Brian out as a failure of a father. The fact that Quagmire of all people has the moral high ground tells you everything about how low Brian sank.
I hate someone who's smarter than I am. I feel like Jillian.
Oh.
What? What is that?
I think I get it. This isn't about me being smarter than you. This is about you still being in love with Jillian.
How do you know that?
Because I'm smarter than you, Brian.
Marriage attempts. The commitment issues. Brian has attempted marriage multiple times, and each attempt reveals new layers of his dysfunction. The most controversial was with Ida Davis, Quagmire's father, in Season 8's Quagmire's Dad. Brian met Ida at a bar, had sex with her, and boasted about meeting an amazing woman. When Peter and Lois saw Ida's photo, they burst into hysterics. Stewie then informed Brian that Ida was Quagmire's father, who had recently undergone gender reassignment surgery. Brian's reaction was to violently vomit for 30 unbroken seconds, a transphobic response that sparked massive controversy. When Quagmire found out, he beat Brian into a bloody pulp. But here's the twist. 8 seasons later in Brighter, Brian and Ida actually dated again. Brian took her out publicly, introduced her to his family, and genuinely seemed to care about her. The relationship only ended because Quagmire gave Ida an ultimatum: choose between him and Brian. Ida chose her son, leaving Brian heartbroken through no fault of his own. Then there's Jess from Season 17's Married with Cancer. Brian met Jess at a bar, and she revealed she had terminal cancer with 2 weeks to live. In what seemed like a selfless gesture, Brian proposed marriage so she could complete her bucket list. But the truth? Brian wanted to look like a hero and score with women who found his sacrifice attractive. The wedding happened, and immediately after, Jess's doctor announced her cancer was cured. Brian's face fell. He never wanted a real marriage. Jess rapidly gained weight, filled their apartment with 10 cats, and farted constantly from 6 months of built-up cancer farts. Brian became miserable but couldn't leave without looking like a monster. During dinner, Jess choked on a nacho and seemingly died, giving Brian his freedom. But she miraculously survived at her own funeral. Eventually, Jess tried to have Brian euthanized at the vet because she was tired of him. Peter saved him, and in a twisted moment of clarity, Jess and Brian admitted they both wanted each other dead. Maybe that's what true marriage is.
Ida. 2 more, please. So I finally tell them, hey, I came here to be at the seminar, not run it.
Recent relationships, seasons 13 to present. In recent seasons, Brian's relationships have become increasingly shallow and manipulative. He dated Chloe in Season 13's Run, Chris, Run by pretending to be a runner, becoming so obsessed with running that he dumped her because she couldn't keep up. He dated Tori in Season 14's Brokeback Swanson after seeing her at a car wash, then pretended to be a normal dog when her Navy SEAL boyfriend showed up, leading to Brian sleeping with her while her boyfriend thought he was their pet. Most disturbingly, Brian pursued Meg's high school friend Patty in Meg's wedding. After seeing the 18-year-old changing, Brian, who's 56 in dog years, became obsessed. He manipulated information from Meg to hit on Patty, drove her to a secluded area, and only stopped when Meg intervened. This wasn't romance. It was predatory behavior from a middle-aged dog chasing a teenager. Brian's relationship with Bonnie Swanson in The Heartbreak Dog showed he'd also cross friendship boundaries. After finding Bonnie crying about her marriage to Joe, Brian kissed her. They ran away together to start a new life, but immediately began fighting when they got jobs at the same diner. Joe won Bonnie back, but not before shooting Brian in the foot as punishment. One of Brian's more recent attempts at connection was with Padma, a customer service agent from India in Season 16's Family Guy Light. After one phone call, Brian flew 16 hours to India, found Padma somehow in a country of 1.4 billion people, and convinced her to call off her engagement. Her father agreed on the condition Brian pay back the dowry already spent. When Brian couldn't raise the money, Padma's younger sister was promised instead. Padma eventually realized they were too different culturally, ending their relationship on bittersweet terms. There's also Cheryl Teagues, the supermodel in Season 9's Teagues for Two. Brian somehow convinced the 63-year-old model to date him, which made Quagmire insanely jealous since he'd always fantasized about her. The two competed for Cheryl's affection in increasingly pathetic displays of masculinity, ultimately destroying Brian and Quagmire's already fragile relationship even further. Cheryl eventually chose neither of them, proving that even a woman in her 60s had more sense than to settle for Brian's nonsense.
You wimp. This way you'll earn your dessert. Wow, this is great, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, it's awesome. Hey, is your vision also reduced to just a tiny pinhole?
Just push through it, Brian. Once you hit your runner's high, you'll catch your second wind.
Runners?
The pattern analysis. So what's the common thread in Brian's romantic disaster reel? He's incapable of dating equals. When women are less intelligent like Jillian, he's embarrassed. When they're more intelligent like Lauren, he's threatened. He pursues women out of his league like Lois, then dates down with younger, less accomplished women he can manipulate. Brian's alcoholism constantly sabotages his relationships. He cheated on Rita after getting drunk. He made out with Meg while drunk. His poor decisions are consistently fueled by his addiction to alcohol and validation. Multiple episodes show Brian starting his day with a martini, making inappropriate decisions under the influence, and using alcohol as a crutch whenever relationships get difficult. His drinking isn't portrayed as quirky or funny. It's a genuine addiction that destroys everything he touches. His abandonment issues, stemming from his mother leaving him as a puppy, manifest as fear of genuine commitment. He proposes marriage to dying women but can't handle real long-term partnership. The one time he found his biological mother in Mom's the Word, they nearly hooked up at a bar before discovering their relationship, which is disturbing on multiple levels and shows just how damaged Brian's attachment style really is. Quagmire's famous speech in Jerome is the New Black perfectly summarized Brian's failures. You constantly hit on your best friend's wife. You failed college twice but act like you're the smartest person alive. You preach liberalism but judge everyone who disagrees. And you neglected your own son. Every word was accurate. The most painful truth? Brian's real soulmate is Stewie. Not romantically, platonically. Stewie is the only character who consistently challenges Brian intellectually, calls him out on his BS, and genuinely cares about his well-being. When Brian died in Season 12's Life of Brian, Stewie moved heaven and earth, literally stealing a time machine from his past self to bring him back. No woman in Brian's life has shown that level of devotion. Conclusion: Brian Griffin has dated over 20 named women, had countless one-night stands, and failed at every meaningful romantic connection. He's crashed weddings, abandoned children, cheated on partners, and crossed every moral line imaginable. Compared to Peter's stable 20-plus year marriage to Lois, Brian's romantic resume is a masterclass in dysfunction. So, what do you think? Does Brian deserve love? Or has he burned too many bridges? Is Jillian really the one that got away? Or was Brian never capable of appreciating her in the first place? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow Family Guy fans, and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite animated disasters. Because if Brian's taught us anything, it's that sometimes the biggest train wreck is the most entertaining to watch.